All right, let's dive right into this explainer. We're opening up our virtual workshop today to talk about something incredibly cool, building your very own, completely private AI search engine right at home. We're taking that massive power of modern artificial intelligence and bringing it straight to your desktop. No cloud, no internet connection, and absolutely zero sharing of your personal data with big tech. Here's our blueprint for the day. First, the AI scale problem. Then, the local edge revolution. Next, blueprinting your workshop tools, followed by actually building the search engine. And finally, sovereignty is a choice.
So the real million-dollar question here is this. How exactly do we harness this massive artificial intelligence without just handing over our sensitive data to the cloud? I mean, we all know how amazing these AI models are. They summarize complex reports, they analyze financials, they even write code. But the catch? You usually have to send your private files over the internet to a centralized server. Whether it's confidential business strategy, personal health data, or proprietary research, sending it away is a huge privacy risk. We literally have to find a way to balance the insane utility of modern AI with absolute, rock-solid data privacy.
Section 1. The AI scale problem. The centralized cloud trap. Make no mistake, AI is driving the largest infrastructure build-out in human history. We've got AlphaFold 3 completely revolutionizing structural biology and drug discovery. AI tutors are tackling education's 2 sigma problem over at places like Khan Academy. But to power these billions of digital agents, we're seeing an absolutely massive surge in CapEx, capital expenditure, just for raw compute power. It is creating an insatiable demand for gigawatt data centers. I mean, it's gotten so extreme that Microsoft is literally exploring sinking data centers into the ocean just to use the deep water for cooling. That's the astonishing, almost unbelievable scale we're talking about with centralized AI. And you can see the macro trend really clearly. Back in 1964, the IBM System 360 created the standard for data centers. Basically just warehouses where we store and retrieve files. But fast forward to the 2020s, and we're seeing Project Natick testing those subsea data centers for cooling. Because by 2026, the AI CapEx boom is going to demand extreme, off-grid compute power. We've literally gone from standard computing to needing extreme thermodynamic solutions, like deep-water pods, just to keep the servers from melting down. It's a massive leap, but it really highlights how physically distant and centralized this tech is becoming from us, the everyday users. Which brings us to a really critical comparison. Centralized cloud AI versus local AI sovereignty. The centralized approach? Well, it needs that massive CapEx, it logs all your queries, it poses severe privacy risks, and it traps you in an endless subscription cycle. But look at the alternative. Local AI just uses your computer's local VRAM. It guarantees 100% data privacy because, well, there are absolutely zero API logs being sent to the cloud. Plus, it has complete off-grid capability. You could literally be in a cabin in the woods, miles from Wi-Fi, and your AI search engine would still work flawlessly.
All right, Section 2, the local edge revolution. The agentic economy moves home.
How is this possible? Well, it all comes down to one absolute game changer: quantization. Basically, quantization is a technical method that reduces the bit precision of AI model parameters, like shrinking them down to sub-4-bit weights. What this does is significantly lower memory consumption with very minimal loss in reasoning quality. Think of it kind of like taking a massive ultra-high-resolution image and compressing it so it fits perfectly on your phone, but it still looks incredibly sharp. Thanks to software breakthroughs like weight quantization, developers are shrinking massive neural networks so they can run super efficiently right on a standard consumer laptop.
Market analyst Jordi Visser hit the nail on the head here. He said, working on your own personal laptop and having your own machines is going to be a major part of what we're doing. Eventually, we're going to be on the edge. And by the edge, he means your actual device. As analysts point out, the agentic economy is rapidly decentralizing. It's bringing incredibly powerful, localized tools directly to your personal workspace. Moving on to Section 3, blueprinting your workshop tools, the local setup.
Before we build, we need the right tools. First up is a vector database, specifically one called FAISS. Here's the rundown. It's a system that organizes document chunks into mathematical coordinates, which allows an AI to instantly retrieve information based on semantic meaning. You know how traditional search engines just look for exact keyword matches? Well, to let our local AI actually read and understand our personal files, we use this vector database to translate our documents into a mathematical language the AI gets. So if you search for revenue growth, it intuitively knows to pull up a document discussing Q3 sales, even if those exact words aren't anywhere in the text. Pretty smart, right?
So here is our ultimate DIY blueprint. The foundation has 4 main parts. First, Ollama. That's the local AI runner that actually executes the model. Then, Python, our trusty programming language for data processing. We add FAISS to act as our vector index, and finally, Streamlit, which we'll use to build a really clean, accessible user interface.
Section 4. Building the search engine. From code to citations.
All right, let's roll up our sleeves and look at the assembly steps. Step 1. Install Ollama and the necessary Python libraries. Step 2. Configure your logging and set the chunk size constants. Step 3. Process and chunk your local PDF and docx files. And Step 4. Create the FAISS vector index. Essentially, what this tutorial shows is how to set up the environment, write a quick Python script to chop your massive private documents into smaller, easily digestible chunks, and then load them all into a searchable mathematical index.
Breaking down the core code functions, it's actually pretty straightforward. You've got the document processor to read and split up the text, then FAISS.loadLocal to load those mathematical embeddings we talked about. And the real magic happens with Ollama.generate, which reads the context to provide the final intelligent answer. This structured code handles the whole shebang, from reading your files to organizing the vectors, keeping every single bit of processing securely locked down on your own machine.
So what's it like when you actually use it? Well, Step 1, you type a query into the Streamlit UI. Step 2, your query is encoded and the FAISS index is searched instantly. Step 3, the relevant local document sections are retrieved. And Step 4, Ollama generates an answer with citations. When you ask a question, the system instantly matches your words to your private files, generating a highly accurate answer, complete with local document citations. It literally tells you exactly which specific local file it used to come up with the response. No more guessing. And that brings us to a massively powerful number, 100. By running this completely on your own hardware using Ollama and local vector databases, you achieve 100% data privacy with absolutely zero internet reliance. Nobody is scraping your sensitive legal documents, your personal journal, or your tax returns to train the next big model. It's all yours. Which brings us to Section 5. Sovereignty is a choice. Escaping the cloud.
I love this quote from the Sovereign Tech Audit because it perfectly captures the whole theme. Sovereignty is a technical choice. It is not just some abstract pie-in-the-sky philosophy. Actually completing this weekend DIY workshop proves that avoiding centralized data monopolies is a practical, technical reality. It's something anyone with a weekend to commit can actually achieve. You have effectively built your very own personal vault. This is a totally private ecosystem where your sensitive search history, your documents, and your interactions remain permanently and exclusively yours. You've built a digital fortress that leverages the incredible reasoning capabilities of AI without sacrificing a single ounce of your security. So, I want to leave you with this final, ultimate question. As the world rushes toward gigawatt clouds and subsea data centers, will you leave your sensitive data sitting on public servers, or will you take a weekend to build your own sovereign engine? As we enter an era of quadrillions of AI tokens and massive centralized models, who really holds the keys to your data? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope it inspired you to open up your own virtual workshop this weekend.